In a crowded diner, a deaf teenager struggles to place an order, facing growing tension and visible frustration from the staff and nearby customers. Just when things begin to turn humiliating, a young waitress steps in, not only with patience, but with fluent sign language. What she doesn't know is that someone nearby is watching and filming, and that video would do more than go viral. It would rewrite her future. It was just another Friday night rush at Marlowe's Diner, the kind of place where waitresses carried 5 plates at once, the coffee never stopped flowing, and nobody expected to cry over a cheeseburger. The booths were full, the kitchen bell was ringing non-stop, and the scent of sizzling onions mingled with fresh-baked pie. Kelsey Monroe, 24, had worked there for almost 3 years. She was fast, kind, and carried a smile like it was part of her uniform. Everyone called her Sunshine, not just because of her bright blonde hair or the way she handled grumpy customers, but because she had a way of making people feel like they belonged, even if they didn't. That night, though, something different happened. At 7:48 p.m., a teenage boy walked into the diner. Maybe 16, skinny frame, messy black hair, hands tucked deep in his hoodie pockets. He walked slowly, almost cautiously, eyes scanning the room like he wasn't sure if he should be there. Kelsey noticed him immediately, not because he stood out, but because he didn't. She was trained to spot hesitation, discomfort, distress, even in the smallest expressions, and this boy was radiating it. He slid into a corner booth near the back, alone. No one came in with him, no one followed. When Kelsey brought over a water and set it down, she smiled warmly. "Hey there, welcome to Marlowe's. You ready to order, or do you need a minute?" The boy blinked, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a notepad. He scribbled something quickly, then turned it around. It said, "I'm deaf. I'll point to the menu. Is that okay?" Kelsey's smile didn't even flicker. "Absolutely," she said softly, placing the menu in front of him and kneeling slightly so their eyes met. But not everyone reacted like that. A different waitress, Marla, mid-40s, always in a rush, saw the notepad exchange from across the floor and rolled her eyes. "Oh, great," she muttered under her breath. "Here we go." A couple at the next booth whispered something. The man smirked. The woman tilted her head and said a little too loudly, "Poor thing. Wonder why he's alone." Kelsey ignored it. She waited patiently as the boy scanned the menu and pointed to a cheeseburger, then fries, then a milkshake. She nodded after each, using her hands to repeat back what he'd selected. Then, without warning, she started signing. The boy's eyes widened, his posture straightened. He looked at her hands, then her face, then back to her hands. "You know sign?" He signed, hesitant. Kelsey nodded. "Of course. I took it in college, and my cousin's deaf." "You're safe here. Take your time." That moment, that one exchange, changed everything. Not just for him, for her, and for everyone watching. Because someone was watching. 3 booths over, sitting behind a laptop and nursing his 3rd cup of black coffee, was Lawrence Kinney, a producer for a local human interest program. He had stopped in on a whim after a long day of edits and studio meetings. He wasn't looking for a story. He just wanted pie. But what he saw? That was better than any pitch he'd heard in months. Without thinking, he opened his phone and hit record. Across the room, Kelsey had pulled out her own notepad. She wrote, "Do you want me to show you how to say milkshake in ASL?" The boy smiled. Not a shy one, not a forced one, but the kind of smile that only happens when someone feels seen. Kelsey walked away briefly to place the order, and that's when the whispering started. "That waitress is just showing off," said the same woman in the next booth. "Or trying to go viral," added her husband. "He should have brought a translator," muttered Marla, the other waitress, as she passed by. Lawrence heard it all. He kept filming. Kelsey returned with the food, smiling as she placed each item down. She signed, "Enjoy. Let me know if you need anything." The boy signed back. "Thank you. You're the first person all week who talked to me." She paused. "I'm really glad you came in tonight." He looked down at the burger, then back at her, then signed, "My mom died 3 months ago. She always took me out on Fridays. Tonight's the first time I tried alone." Kelsey didn't react with pity. She didn't gasp or frown or tilt her head like she was watching a sad commercial. She just signed, "She'd be proud of you." And with that, she walked away, giving him space to eat in peace. That 2-minute clip, all captured quietly by a stranger with a phone, hit the internet by sunrise and exploded. By 8:15 a.m., the video had been reposted to a Facebook page called Everyday Heroes. By 10 a.m., it had over 400,000 views. By noon, national news outlets had picked it up with headlines like "Waitress comforts deaf teen with sign language," "Sparks kindness movement nationwide." People were tagging friends, sharing stories, crying at their desks. One woman commented, "I lost my hearing last year. Do you know how rare it is for someone to sign without being asked?" Another added, "She reminded me of what humanity looks like." By 2 p.m., producers from Good Morning America were calling Marlowe's diner, and Kelsey, she was still working her shift, completely unaware. She didn't know until her manager pulled her aside mid-shift and said, "You're on the news." What followed was a whirlwind. Interviews, TV appearances, scholarship offers, job offers, messages from deaf families across the country. One woman flew in from Utah just to meet her and say thank you. But for Kelsey, the part that mattered most was what happened the next Friday. Same time, same booth. The boy returned. This time, he wasn't alone. He brought his little sister, also deaf, younger, shy, scared. But when she saw Kelsey sign, she lit up like a lantern. They came every week after that, sometimes with friends, sometimes with just homework, but always to see Kelsey. And Kelsey, she started something she never planned for, a free ASL tutoring night at the diner every Wednesday. Staff joined in. Customers stayed late. A retired interpreter started volunteering. Even Marla, once skeptical, began learning the alphabet. 6 months later, the owner renamed that back booth. A brass plaque reads, "The Monroe Table, where everyone has a voice." So the next time you see someone struggling to be heard, remember this. Kindness doesn't need permission. Language isn't just spoken. And sometimes, the smallest gestures, a patient smile, a few silent words, can echo louder than applause. Kelsey Monroe didn't save the world, but she saved a moment. And in that moment, someone remembered they mattered. That's where change begins. If this story moved you, subscribe for more. Because the next time someone chooses compassion over convenience, it might just be the spark the world needs.